Out in the cold, out in the dark, something's lurking at the edge of the park. People be warned, people beware, there's a storm on the rise and it's covered in hair. Hear him cry, hear him howl, looking for someone to disembowel. Claws like a hook, eyes like coal, feet so big they're gonna crush your soul. They call him Sasquatch.
Hello and welcome to Yowie Central. I'm Sarah and you're listening to 94.9 Main FM. I have two absolute legends lined up for you today. First up, I have none other than my good friend and Australian Yowie Research founder, Dean Harrison, dropping by for a chat about what he's working on at the moment. I'll play you a part of that chat today and the rest next week. I've also got part two of the fascinating chat I had a few weeks ago with Australian Yowie researchers Gary Lynn, aka the Finderer or the Mountain Goat. In part two, we delve into UFOs CE5 and alien visits. Bring it on. But first up, here's Dean Harrison. Mr. Dean Harrison, thank you so much for joining me on Yowie Central.
Ms. Sarah Bignell, nice to talk to you again.
You've joined us today to give us an update on what you've been up to.
Well, at the moment, I'm working on a project that's very, very close to my heart. It's something I put a lot of thought into. Well, not just thought, but a lot of time, a lot of years has been invested in this. It's the story, basically, of Kilkeven, the history, and when I was hit by the Yowie. Not just that, but the reason why we were there in the first place, and this is fascinating, we're actually there based on a lie. And if you don't know the backstory, well, you'll find out when I actually produce this video. Basically, the story was, just the synopsis was that basically we're there because of a guy, a historian by the name of B.J. Green, Brett John Green, who we now call B.S. Green. And he had a lot of stories about this particular mountain at Oakview, which is west of Gympie. It's a place called Kilkeven. And so we went there on his advice, blah, blah, blah. We had a fleet of cars. We had four-wheel drives, and there was one camper van. And the camper van was owned by George and Glennis Mackay. Glennis is a psychic. George sadly's passed away now. And they couldn't get their camper van up the hill, so they parked down the bottom. We went to the top and found this hut that we were described, and we had a night there that was non-eventful, put it that way. But at 7 o'clock in the morning, one of our guys who had walked back down to the bottom of the hill, he'd stayed down there. He'd walked back up again. That was a long, long trek to get back up. But he came up with the news that the camper van had been attacked that night. So we got all our gear together and we went back down to the bottom of the mountain. And this camper van is so big that for a human to move it, almost impossible. Yet that night, the camper van was rocking from side to side so heavily that George and Glennis almost fell out of bed. And as a result of that, there's a massive footprint outside the door. George got up and he's like, "Oh, what's going on here?" sort of thing, and opened the door and he said, "This thing just ran off through the bush." And so that was pretty much our first introduction of Oakview, Kilkeven. So we started going there for quite a while, and we had so many different experiences out there, and interestingly, some that I still can't explain. Like, I cannot explain them. And I'll give you an example of this one. So there's myself and Marcus. This is one of our guys at the time who was with us. We'd ventured away at 2 o'clock in the morning, And we thought we'd go sit on the opposite mountain range and listen. So we went up to the top of this mountain range. We had our gear. We sat down, and then all of a sudden, there's this walking, stomping, and it was so over exaggerated that I didn't believe it. I went, no. This is one of our problem people that I wanted to get rid of at the time. I thought he was pranking us, basically. So it was so over the top, stomp, 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 coming right up from the valley, directly at us. And it's getting closer, getting closer, getting closer. We kept the torchlights off. And as it's basically maybe 10, 15 meters, on went the lights, and that was the last step. Nothing, absolutely nothing there. Makes no sense. And to this day, I still think about this. We looked high, we looked low, we looked around everything. And we're talking about a pine forest. We're not talking about, rainforest where you can hide behind things. This isn't that. This is different. This is like sparse trees, basically. It made no sense. Where did it go? There was no holes. We looked up the trees. We looked around the trees. There was nothing. And it was the moment we turned on that light, we hit that button, bang, gone. Just like that. Makes no sense.
That is very strange.
If you want some more strangeness, well, there was another time. It was myself. This is during Operation Rotation, and this is a magical story of, we put together this expedition, and it ran over, I think, 9-10 days. And we'd rotate people like groups of two, and so we'd fill in those days. And so it was during myself and Trevor's time there. We were teamed up together, and it was about 1:00 in the afternoon, and then this sound came through the forest, and precisely what we'd do, right? We'd have to write down notes in our journals. Every team had to write the notes down and document everything from their experience. So they were talking about this crashing coming through the bush. So lo and behold, 1:00 in the afternoon, this is my first day there, and this crashing came through, and it was like a steamroller. Everything was coming down. Trees were being felled. That was that sort of noise. And so I said to everybody there, Brett Grimm's there, Mick Dale, Trev Smith, I think Mike DeVere. And I said, just keep talking, keep the dialogue up, like pretending that, we haven't noticed, that type of thing. And so I grabbed my video camera, and I was bulletproof because I wanted results from this weekend. And I'd run down, tiptoed down to the stream, and I went up the stream bed. And I bulletproof. But the moment I stepped up onto that bank where it was, bam! It was like walking through, and my journal says, it's like walking through a wall of ice. Everything went silent. All the birds, all the crickets, everything just turned weird. I suddenly got the sweats. I felt nauseous. I psychoanalyzed myself during the time, which is important, and I knew that this wasn't natural. So I'm pushing through it the best I can. And what happened? I ended up on my knees and on my side. It just dropped me, and I'm lying there, and I knew it was on the other side of this tree, a big tree, big wide tree. But I couldn't move. I just couldn't move. And I was there for, it says in my journal how long, 15 minutes or so. And suddenly everything returned to normal. Birds came back, crickets came back, all the bugs, etc. And I started to feel normal. So I got up and I looked around this tree and there was nothing there. Now, for something so large to make such a racket, such a noise, as I say, steam rolling through like an elephant on two legs, to make so much noise coming in, but to make no noise on the exit, makes no sense.
No, but how many times have we heard that? That disappearing and not making any noise while leaving. So strange.
Far be it for me to talk paranormal because I'm not that sort of person. I'm not into conspiracies. I'm not into paranormal. But what I can say is there's a few anomalies out there that I can't explain.
Yeah. And do you think it was something along the lines of infrasound that hit you, that floored you?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, if I answered that, it would just be a guess. I'll be surmising. I mean, I can't give you facts. Basically, I can't. I can't say definitively it's this or it's that because I don't know enough about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what I can say is that it was unnatural. Now, it was kind of like almost when this thing came up behind me before the chase. I mean, I basically felt it. I knew something was wrong. You could feel it. I felt like, I think, as I said before, like a rabbit in headlights. I was frozen. I couldn't move. I couldn't move my body. And I knew that was all related to whatever it was behind me. Up until that stage, I thought human, 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 human. But then when that feeling came over me, I go, no, this isn't good. This is something different.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it was chasing me and it was like yelling and carrying on, it almost felt like waves of energy, kind of. You know, it was sort of like you could feel what it was thinking. That's how it felt to me. And I often describe that as it was kind of like he had such anger about it that it was almost like it felt like I just killed his newborn. That's the sort of anger that was coming out of this thing.
Right.
Now you can watch Hollywood movies, horror movies, etc., but you'll never understand it unless you've experienced what I experienced that night, like the real terror, like the real anger, the real evil type thing. You know, that was tough stuff. I thought I was going to die that night. I thought that was it. He caught up with me within no time, and it was on my left-hand side, and I thought, there's no escape. But I mean, I didn't know anything about them at that stage. Really, it was just luck that I didn't jog down that path that night, and the fact that they don't come out in the open, they don't like to come out in the open, and there was a street light up there on the street. There's enough light there for him to stop and not lunge out and actually get me.
And that's kind of what saved you in the end, wasn't it? That street light.
Oh, yeah, I know. And I hate to think what it would have been like if I had to jog down that track, because if I reached out both hands either side, I could have touched the bush both sides. This is how narrow that track was at the time. And it was dark and it was a long track. If I had have kept running, again, this is 11 o'clock at night, if I had kept running down that track, I wouldn't be here now, because he really did mean business. He was very, very serious.
I'm just going through my mind as to how I would feel if I was there by myself.
It was awful. It was awful. And you really did believe, this is it. This is it. I'm going to die right here and now, because there's nothing I could have done to save myself. And I often thought about it at the time. It didn't matter what handheld weapon I could have had on me. It wouldn't have made any difference. This thing was just too big, too fast, too aggressive. There's nothing you could have done to save yourself. I could have had a samurai sword and it wouldn't have saved me.
Dean Harrison, founder of Australian Yowie Research. Tune in next week for more details on Kilkevin, where Dean was shoved in the chest by an angry Yowie. You're listening to Yowie Central on the best little station in the nation, 94.9 Main FM. Next up, part 2 of my chat with Gary Lynn of Australian Yowie Research. I have gone down a few rabbit holes recently, particularly with regards to the CE5 concept.
Welcome.
Yes, I'm so excited. Let's talk about that. But also, I'm actually in the middle of watching this documentary. It's called The Fifth Kind.
Yes. Yep.
And
Dr. Stephen Greer. Yep.
yeah, Stephen Greer, and there's this other, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. He's done a 4-hour documentary on the history of human beings. So he goes back to the Anunnaki, but also before the Anunnaki, what happened before that, and then the flood that is talked about in biblical times, but also comparing it to the creation stories from Indigenous tribes all over the world. And it's so fascinating. It makes way more sense to me than the Bible ever did. I grew up in all girls Catholic school. None of that ever made really much sense to me, and I disconnected from that quite early on.
Sure.
But listening to people, and this guy's a learned, highly educated man. He used to be a pastor, and so knows the Bible stories really well. He knows the Bible really well, and he's not anymore. He's not a pastor anymore, but he has that incredible depth of knowledge when it comes to the historical document that is the Bible, and also has the skills and the knowledge to research other creation stories, other religious beliefs from around the world, and he's put it all together into that. And drawing the conclusion that a lot of other people seem to be as well, is that human beings are a hybrid race.
Yes. Yeah. I'm with you on that one.
Yeah.
I mean, like, even when you look at with older cultures and from around the world, and that common saying, they drew it because they saw it. So when you go through paintings that are hundreds of years old, even cave paintings, hieroglyphs, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And different cultures from around the world were drawing and painting the same things. So these strange objects coming down from the skies, these angels coming down from the skies. It's how they at the time perceive these actions and these experiences. Obviously, back then, going about sun gods and moon gods and that kind of thing, and then when you believe in the sun god, and then you got this strange round spherical craft that comes down from the heavens as such, and these beings that come down from the heavens as such, which these days, as we correlate that more so to ETs as opposed to angels, ETs or ancient energies that get around as well. So I think there's definitely a lot more going on than what we understand. Hopefully we can understand soon. But yeah, it's very hard. There's so much. I mean, like even with the Bible only being, the Bible goes back 5,000 years, but these ancient structures which have been dated back to a minimum 12, 15,000 years, and then you've got the Aboriginal culture which goes back 50, 60,000 years, but none of that correlates to the Bible. So, yeah, I think we need to stay open to other subjects, open to other ideas, because we simply just don't know. There are obviously people out there that do know a lot more than people like myself.
Yeah.
But we just need to stay open to other ideas.
Yeah, exactly. This guy's name is Paul Wallace.
Oh, yes.
And the description of this documentary, it's a 4-hour-long documentary. It says, many of the world's oldest mythologies claim that governance over human society began with dominance over human beings being established by superior beings or gods. Then the job of rulership gets handed over at a later stage to human governors or kings. Could the gods or the ancient aliens still be here is the question too. Are they still here?
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Are we a hybrid species because we don't quite fit on the evolutionary table?
Yeah.
There's other theories that we were created to mine the gold on planet Earth.
Yes. When the Anunnaki were controlling us, there were two brothers, and one of them wanted to upgrade us so that we were more intelligent and able to use our whole brain instead of just a part of it.
But less susceptible to be controlled.
Yes, exactly. So there was disagreement as to whether one of the brothers didn't want us any smarter because he wanted to be able to control us, and the other brother wanted us to be a little bit smarter, but not being able to use our brains, our whole brain entirely.
Yes, which then comes back to the pineal
pineal gland.
Pineal gland. That's the one.
Yeah.
Third eye, which is that's an aspect that's heavily used in meditation. I've done it personally. Once you can get in that state of meditation and you unlock the third eye, and they talk about with your chakras and the colours and that kind of thing. And once your third eye is unlocked in your meditation, like you see clouds of indigo purple, and that's a heavy indication of your mind opening up and your third eye opening up.
And you've gotten to that space. Yes. Good on you.
Yes.
Do you meditate every day, Gary?
No, I don't actually. Lately I haven't been meditating as much as I used to. Just with work and all over the place. Other aspects going on. I think a big problem is as well is that we put too much pressure on it that I need to meditate.
Yeah.
And when the other aspect as well is that sometimes when you talk about meditation, a lot of people scoff and laugh at it like it's some hippie thing, but they don't actually realise it's actually a medicine for the mind and the body.
Yes.
Once if you can take meditation and then all the religious aspects, the ET aspects, take all that out of it and just do a calming meditation, and you'll be surprised how much it helps the mind and the body just with that meditation. It's almost like a mental and an energy reset for the body. Yeah. And it helps. Like it doesn't have to be, again, it doesn't have to be a religious or an ET contact thing, just a general well-being, and people will feel better after doing so.
Tell me about some of the experiences you've had doing the CE5 contact group meditation things.
Yeah, for sure. So with these, like we have a Gold Coast group, Gold Coast CE5 contact team, and we meet up at Springbrook. The very first meetup that we had up there, we actually had three craft, or I should say three light objects going across the eastern sky, going from south to north. And at the time I had my night vision camera, and I was watching the third one. So that they were spaced roughly, I think the first two were spaced roughly about 2 seconds apart, and the second and the third was spaced just under a second apart. And I was watching the third one through my night vision camera, and as soon as I said to someone, I'm watching one of these objects flying, it stopped and it started going back south.
Oh, really? Wow.
100%. When you tell these stories, obviously when people's minds are going, oh, it's a satellite. That's just it's a plane. It's a satellite. But I 100%, I'm telling the truth. I watched this third, like that, all in line with each other. Just again, they were spaced different time frame apart. I literally watched the third one through the night vision camera. It stopped and started going back south. Satellites don't do that. Planes don't do that. Even helicopters can't stop like that. And this is like up in the sky. It stopped and started going back south.
Yeah, right.
Otherwise, like there's like bright blue lights going through the clouds, not in any particular direction. Not that they don't move like any aircraft that we have. There's another thing called I call it a sky flash, and I've had a few other people explain a similar thing that they just call it something else. Once I joined a group which is run by it's called the Australian community. So it's Australian, but the last part of Australian is spelt like alien. So Australian community.
Yep.
Run by Damien Douglas, a great mate of mine. We had an online group meditation, and after that meditation finished, we all explored. I'm on the Gold Coast. He's in Brisbane. People down New South Wales, and everyone's spaced around. And we try to get everyone out outside to do this. Within 20 minutes of the meditation finishing, we all saw like the sky light up for a split second, like even like super, super fast. No clouds, no storms, clear sky, and the whole sky flashed for just that super, super, super split second. And we jumped back in a group and said, I just saw the whole sky just flashed. And also people like Brisbane, Sydney, other places were all saying the same thing. And it all happened at about the same time that we all saw it. What it was, I don't know, but I've seen that multiple times since that night after doing the C5 meditation, because obviously up in the mountains, it's very quiet, it's very open, like I said, like, you know, very good view of the stars. And I've seen that multiple times. Once you open yourself up and, you know, to those connections, that kind of thing, you start to see more stuff in the sky. More lights come over the house, like to the point where, I think I've told you this before, but about my wife's in the back patio having a smoke, and there's 3 lights on the western horizon dancing around. If I go outside at night time for no reason, my daughter Willow, she's where are you going? I'm just going outside. Are you going to talk to the star people? Yeah. So, and like even like she's 4, and she's seen stuff and like strange lights in the sky.
Yeah, right.
And this all came about once opening myself up and actively asking for that contact and that communication. I think I told you about the 2 ET beings that I've seen in the house on 2 separate occasions.
Yeah, but you can tell us again, because I'm sure the Yowie Central listeners, that was I don't know, earlier on this year, so you could tell us again.
Yeah. And well, I mean, on top of that, then my wife actually saw one too.
Oh, really? Wow, cool.
Only about 6 months ago. I've always had some strange stuff going on all of my life, like which I thought were shadow people, which in the last couple of years I've come to learn that they weren't shadow people; they're actually ETs. And you know, you can feel the energy in the house change when, like, it gets heavy when you can feel something's in the house. The first time I saw one, I should say, turn the TV off, and to go upstairs, you go. So, for example, if I'm on the couch facing west, and then to go upstairs, I have to go southwest into the kitchen, and then do a right-hand turn, and then another 180 and go upstairs. And we have this massive salt lamp in the kitchen. So, as people know, when you turn the lights off, the salt lamps stay on. Mm-hmm. But with the size of the salt lamp, it's huge. Probably one of the biggest salt lamps that I've ever seen, I think. And it's letting out a nice ambient glow through the kitchen. And as I've turned the TV off, there's no other lights on, so I've walked in the kitchen, going to go upstairs. And as I've turned a 180 to go upstairs, I've seen there's a window at the back of the house. As you turn to go upstairs, I've seen a reflection of something, and I've looked through. Our stairs are separate stairs. It's not a solid staircase. So I've seen something in the back window. I've turned to my left a bit, looked through the stairs, and I see this perfect silhouette, backlit by the salt lamp, of this 3 to 4 foot being standing there. I couldn't see anything because apparently their skin colour is outside of our sight spectrum. So being backlit by the salt lamp, that's why I could see it. But I literally just walked straight past this being, didn't see anything, and that's when I was a bit upset with myself. Instead of saying hello, I said, okay, and walked upstairs.
Damn it!
Yeah. And then the next sighting was, I think it was about 9 months later, where it was about 4:30, 4:45, and like you see in movies, like a lot of people talk about with their own experiences, they suddenly wake up at a particular time and sit up straight in bed. So that's basically what happened to myself. 4:30, 4:45 in the morning, sat up straight away in bed. I looked to my left to the doorway, and I could see this being still. So I could see the whole right hand side of the body. The only thing I couldn't see was the left leg and the left arm. It's peering into the bedroom, looking at me. And as you do, like, because something's there, it gives you a jump. Not because it's an ET being. Even if you were standing there, like, it'd give me a jump. Yeah. Because you've just woken up and there's something standing there looking at you. So I've just had a natural jump, and when I looked back, it was gone, and I just peacefully went back to sleep. And then you could always feel stuff, and like astral travel type, out of body type experiences as you're sleeping. So I've had lots of those. They all tend to be ET related, UFO related kind of things. And fast forward to my wife, like we were sitting around our fire pit a couple of months ago, and we're just talking about, like, my mates come around, we'll always talk about Yowies and ETs and other aspects. And my wife just pops and goes, "Oh, I've seen one too." And everyone just stopped and looked at her like, "Is she being serious?" And then she didn't tell us. Like 3-4 days later, she finally told me what happened. I think she was feeling a bit anxious, a bit nervous about saying, but yeah, she suddenly woke up. That same deal. She suddenly woke up, sat up in bed, and she saw this dark figure, which she explained the same sort of being that I see. She sat up, and this being was standing over top of me.
Oh, wow.
And then she said, she looked at it. She's like, she said it's like she wasn't dreaming. She's actually awake, looking at this being. Just she didn't see any features, just the dark shape of the being. Again, this is like at night, and she said she just calmly went back to sleep. And I laughed and said, "Yeah, you didn't go back to sleep. You got put back to sleep. you weren't meant to wake up."
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So it was standing over you, looking at you.
Correct. So
wow.
whatever was going on. But then, yeah, we had some strange things, like even that last overnight. No, sorry, the second last overnight, as you know, we were back in Springbrook. The next morning, when I come home, she goes, "Did you come home last night for any reason?" I said, "No." And she said that she woke up. I don't remember what time she said, but she said she woke up and she looked toward my side of the bed. Like there's a long dresser along the wall on my side of the bed. She said I was sitting there looking at her, and she said that she actually, like, made herself, like, pay attention and wake up as such to look again, like, thinking she's dreaming. As you do, make yourself wake up a bit more to actually pay attention to what's going on.
Yeah.
She did that, and she said, "Yeah, Gary's sitting there looking at me. He's sitting on this dresser looking at me." And she said I was wearing my AYR singlet. I was just sitting there looking at her, and because I'm my husband, she's not thinking anything about it. She thinks I've just come home, so she went back to sleep. And then she wakes up, I'm not there. And then I get home. "Did you come home last night?" "No, I'm in Springbrook all night." And then she just wigged out. She completely freaked out.
I don't blame her.
Because she said that I rubbed my eyes and woke myself up to look at you. I was not asleep. I was awake looking at you. And then I went back to sleep because, I just thought you'd come home.
Wow. And so does she remember what time it was? And could you remember were you dreaming and astral traveling and just coming to make sure she was all right?
Very possibly. Very possibly. I'd have to double check what time she thinks it is. But
yeah, so see whether you were asleep and what time it was, what you were doing at that time.
Well, it'd be interesting to really, because it's hard to get proper details out. Like she talks about, like, it's whatever. It's like, I need some details.
Give me some detail. Yeah, some people don't like talking about stuff like that, though, do they? They get nervous and embarrassed. Or
since we've been together, like, over the years, that she's relaxed and she's a lot more open about it. Like, even when I got quite heavily involved with Dean and his research, it was still more of a hobby kind of attitude.
Yeah.
These days, when she sees how invested we are, and we actually get results and we actually find things, and we've obviously got the thermals, and then when I showed her those two palms tied together and the other symbols, like these days she's actually interested and invested in it, and she'll actually talk about it. And I think that's why she was happy to talk about seeing that ET being standing over top of me. This happened 6 months ago, but she only just told us like 2 months ago.
Yeah, that's I can't believe she only just told you. Like,
I know.
what?
I gave it to her.
If something like that had happened to me, I would be blabbering about it to anybody who would listen.
I said, like your husband has ET stuff going on. He goes in the bush in the middle of the night chasing after giant hairy beings, and
Yes.
you like tell me.
If you could tell anybody, you can tell your husband.
You'd think so, yeah. And not just your normal husband that goes to work and comes home. That's me.
Yes.
Like I'm in this.
And I did have a thought though. Was it maybe an alien but taking on your appearance?
Yeah, I was thinking a similar thought train to that one.
Maybe because they knew she
Something's
would be
going on.
terrified if
Yeah,
they were
for
in
sure.
their normal shape, so that they took on your appearance so as to not terrify her too much.
For sure. That's very possible. I mean, again, like we don't know everything. As you know, as you know, when you look at my Facebook and you can put your little slogan on your Facebook or whatever. As you know, mine says, your cup should never be full. We know nothing.
Yes, that's so true.
So you just got to take it all in, unless it's completely batshit crazy. Just take it in.
And that's the thing, though. Sometimes it's hard to distinguish because to someone who doesn't know anything about these subjects, we are all batshit crazy.
Correct.
So
That's correct.
It's
That is
hard.
correct.
Sometimes it's hard to distinguish between what is genuinely batshit crazy and what is within the realms of possibility.
Well, that's exactly right. I mean, like I at the gym the other day, like I went into the gym and I forgot my headphones, and I walked back out to the ute, and there's two young guys walking past the back of the ute, and they saw the tailgate with the AYR logo on it, and they had this cheeky laugh, like they pointed and laughed at it, and they obviously didn't realise it was that it was my ute. And as I walked up to them, I saw them do that, and I said, mate, you won't be laughing when one screams at you from 10 metres away.
Yeah, exactly.
And he just stopped and goes, really? I said, yeah, mate. Yeah. Oh. And then that cheeky smile disappeared and he walked into the gym.
Exactly. Any time I bring up this subject or what I'm interested in and my show with my sister, for example, and she's never one. She doesn't hide what she's thinking. She's an open book. You can see what she's thinking, and there's an immediate sneer. It's just a sneer, a mock, a kind of this look of you're crazy. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
kind of look.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's understandable too. But I mean, like, even my stepdad was exactly the same. And it wasn't until Buck got those thermals, then he went, oh, okay, righto. Well, there actually might be something out there. So yeah, so sometimes it just takes that one trigger for people's whole mindset to change.
Yeah. Yeah. One personal experience, and then they remember, shit, I made fun of people, I mocked people when
exactly right.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I generally tell people. Like, it's like I personally don't care if you don't believe, but don't forget you're laughing. If you're laughing at me, whatever. But don't forget the amount of people that contact us with their encounters and sightings. They are the average person like you and me. They are doctors. They are scientists. They are military. They are police. Are you then going to go and laugh in their face as well?
Yeah.
And then they stop and think for a second and, oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, you don't have to believe, but when there's so much corroborating evidence and so many sightings, so many encounters from especially the people with these science and military type backgrounds that do get the courage to come forward and speak about it, because a lot of them can't speak about it because they'll lose their position or lose their job, which is a shame when different species are getting found every day around the world. So why would you lose your job if there's corroborating evidence?
Yeah.
Be it footprints or be it hair samples, be it scat, be it anything like that, you've got to be open to it. So it's pretty sad that these science communities and stuff like that. Like, I understand with military and that, like they don't want to get out. Like, even with the Canungra Army base, like they've had a lot of activity in there, and a lot of them won't talk about it. Like I spoke to a security guy there who doesn't work there any longer, but I spoke to an ex security worker for the Canungra base, And he told me that there's certain areas of Conungra Base that he won't go. So basically, they have to go and like check different roads inside the base, check gates are locked and that kind of stuff. He said there's certain gates and areas that he won't go to because he's sick of going there, getting screamed at, having the back of the security vehicle slapped by these Yowies.
Yeah, right.
That it just freaks him out. So he on his report he say he's been there, but he hasn't, because he's sick of dealing like. No, he's got his window down. He's driving up this part of the base, and this big 9-foot being jumps out of the bush and screams at him. And it happened on multiple occasions. So he gets sick of it, and just tell his report that yes, I went there, but he actually didn't. So
I don't blame him.
and if high-ranking military do come out, like there has been a couple that have come out of bases and spoken about, like when they're doing special ops training, where the team leader has the team leader goes out and the rest of the team have to try and track him and find him, and it lasts over 3 days. And this sergeant then speaks about a Yowie that followed him for 3 days, which at first he thought it was his team members catching up on him, but it wasn't. They were still a couple of K away. And these Yowies, well, this one Yowie, I think it's about 8.5 foot, big black one, that just would get close enough to him that it could observe him, but not close enough that it was out in the open. And it tracked him and stayed with him for the whole 3 days inside the base.
Did we have that? Is that on our database?
I actually can't remember if it was in the. I don't think it was Facebook Messenger. I think it might have been an email. I have to check up on that one.
Yeah, right.
I'm pretty sure Dean knows which one that is.
Oh, he'll remember. He's got such a good memory.
Yep.
I start to get information overload, and then I start forgetting.
I'm the same.
So many interviews, and not just the interviews, but all the emails that Dean sends through with people that we might not necessarily talk to, but there's interesting information. I can't retain all of that.
Well, it doesn't stop. It just keeps coming. Like,
yeah.
When people ask about, how many sightings are coming in, we're like, well, they don't stop. They keep coming in, like every day or every second day, or be it messenger or be it email or be it the guy down the street, because he knows that you're with AYR. And I went to the tip at Mudrabar a little while ago, and like I was in my work van, but he still has an AYR sticker on the back. And this guy walks up and goes, "Are you legit with like what are you like?" He obviously didn't realise who I am. Not that I'm anyone, but
you're famous, dude.
But
you're a superstar.
He didn't realise that I was part of it, and he come up and questioned me a bit about the sticker, and then I told him I'm with part of Dean's team, and he then went on to tell me about an area that they lived out Currumbin Valley / Talabudra, where they constantly hear screaming coming from the back of their property and tree knocks and rocks getting thrown. And this just ran I was just there dumping stuff in the tip, and he was doing the same thing, and he just saw the sticker on the back of the van, and then he come out with it once he was comfortable to do so. And the area he's talking about was, if you remember, it's probably 18 months ago now, maybe, where a family in Talabudra, they had a very cranky individual that would come to the back of the property almost every day, and it'd pick up the dog bowls, it'd throw the dog bowls at the house, and it got to the point where it'd scream as well at them. It got to the point where they wouldn't let their kids go outside after 4 p.m. on any given day. Right. And they've since moved, and that's when I think two young teenagers captured some audio that from that area as well, which I don't know if that audio was authenticated or not. I have to ask Dean about that one. But yeah, that's the same area. We had this being screaming, throwing dog bowls of the house that actually come up on the back patio, and then throw the dog bowls of the house. So I think that house as well hadn't had anyone live in it for a little while, because it backed onto the forest. Right. So I'm guessing he got used to no one being in that house, and all of a sudden there's a family with loud, noisy kids in there as well. So its peace and quiet was disturbed.
Yeah.
And that's the same area that this guy, just randomly walked up and said, "Hello." We get screamed at.
Yes.
So,
That's funny,
so
isn't it?
it is. Like it happens all the time. These topics, be it Yowies or ETs or ghosts or whatever, they are becoming a lot more mainstream. More and more people are open to talking about these subjects and these matters and their experiences and what they've encountered, what they've experienced, what their friends have told them. It doesn't end. I mean, like, I've had Yowies. I've seen Yowies, watched them in the thermal cameras. I've seen ETs, seen stuff in the skies, had ghosts whisper in my ear, and it doesn't end. And I'm not the only one.
Yeah, exactly. Would that Damien guy from the Australian site, would he be up for talking on Yowie Central, do you reckon, about aliens and UFOs and what the CE5 thing?
Oh, Damien.
Yeah, Damien. I think you said.
Yeah. I'll hit him up. He's actually really good. Like he's a school teacher, so he's very, very well mannered and well spoken. He actually had a Avalon Drive was a popular band in the mid 2000s. He was actually the lead singer for that band.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it'd be really cool to talk to someone for the show about.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd love to include a little bit more of that stuff in it.
Yeah, I think he definitely became really nice guy. He's got a lot of knowledge. Like he runs that group. We got another group called C-Tech, Study for Extraterrestrial something contact. You'd think I know because I'm a moderator on that group. But
dude, if you can't even remember the bloody name of the group, how much moderating are you doing?
I approve some posts.
It gets a bit. Oh, look, I'm trying to keep up with. So I've got Instagram, which I hardly ever use. I've got Twitter as well, which I hardly ever use. But some people only use those and they don't use Facebook. So I've been thinking to myself, I really need to be good at doing everything on Twitter and Instagram as well. But and YouTube as well. Like I don't have a YouTube channel, but far out. It's the amount of time involved in just doing the social media side of things is significant.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's interesting, but it's also kind of sad that our lives are more and more social media driven. I had some issues with a person a couple of years ago, and a group that I run for motorcycles for road conditions through the Gold Coast, hinterland, northern New South Wales. And a person on there caused some issues, so I booted them off the group, and they inboxed me about it, and they were completely devastated about it. I remember saying, like, Facebook isn't everything.
Yeah, yeah.
And these days, it's like, okay, well, we've got AYR, we've got these ET groups, we've got my business on there as well, and like, which is mostly driven by Facebook. And it's like, okay, well, I guess that's the world we live in now.
Yeah, totally. I always find it really funny though. There's the occasional member in the Yowie Central Facebook group that doesn't get the message when you say you need to be kind to people and you need to not laugh in people's faces and you need to not say that whatever somebody else posts is bullshit. There's people who don't get that.
Yeah, well, it's that thing like that respect of, if you haven't experienced it, doesn't mean someone else has. But even if you feel something is, for that annoying word, fake, don't just write fake. Write why you believe this video or this image isn't real.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's one of those pet hates me, that's fake or hoax, and that's all I write.
Yeah.
But well, why do you think that? Like,
yeah,
maybe you missed something that's leading you to that conclusion.
Exactly. It's so easy to say. Somebody just commented on. Someone posted on Yowie Central. Somebody who caught some audio. I think they were mushroom foraging or something like that, and they caught a scream, a Bigfoot-like scream.
Oh, yeah, the one. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just a recent one, but there's somebody, I think they must be new to Yowie Central, but all they commented was fucking bullshit. And I was like,
Yeah,
why would you think it appropriate to just write something like that?
There's no need for it.
No.
Although with that video, I'm pretty sure that video did get proven fake.
Or even if it was fake, like if somebody could say, look, I don't necessarily believe that because for this and this reason. But if you just say fucking bullshit,
exactly
the
right.
the person who shared it might feel really bad, or
Well,
it's just
the thing is as well, like a lot of these videos and photos and stuff like that. Like I've been in the scene for quite a number of years, and a lot of this stuff I've already seen, and then I saw that video do a circulation 2-3 years ago, and now it's come back into circulation. But there's a very high percentage of people that don't realise that that's an old video or an old photo. To them, it's a new video, it's a new photo, it's something amazing they haven't seen before. Even if it's fake or real, it doesn't matter. It's the same situation, and people, especially people who are just coming into the Yowie circle, the ET circle, or the ghost circle, to them it's fresh and new and exciting. And you got other people who may have seen exactly right, exactly what you said happens. So you kind of just got to take a back seat or just keep scrolling, because there's a lot going on, and people are stressed out these days, and it creates more stress when you start typing fucking bullshit on stuff.
Yeah.
Like for me personally, there's a lot of stuff that I'll type on to reply to comment or whatever, but I think, well, hang on, I don't need to put that stress. Even if I'm right, I don't need to put that stress, because it's obviously going to cause a debate back and forth, and it's just even if it's just talking back and forth about that kind of thing, it does create an element of stress that you just don't need.
I get really stressed when I have to adjudicate things like that. I can feel my
sure.
anxiety levels rise, because I don't want to upset anybody either. I feel terrible if I upset anybody, but I also need to defend people who are opening themselves up to be vulnerable within my Yowie Central space as well.
For sure.
But then it's just, I don't like confrontation or fighting with anybody. So I always find it really uncomfortable to have to wade into that and deal with it.
Definitely. It's just aspects that aren't needed, and it can be quite easily avoided. A little bit of respect and a little bit of be nice, it goes a long way.
Absolutely. And the good thing is, I guess, what I have to remind myself with Yowie Central, the Facebook group, is that it's a private Facebook group set up by me, and it's connected to my show. So it's not I've had a few people whinge that people post things that aren't Yowie related, and so I've had to go on and say, look, if you actually had listened to my show, you'll understand that even though it's called Yowie Central, it's not a Yowies only site. We do look into other things as well.
A very quick and easy hammer on the nail of that one is that there's a lot of Yowie and Sasquatch sightings and encounters that have had ET/UFO encounters directly before or directly afterwards.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that right there, shuts those people down pretty quick.
There's a connection. There's a connection. And the thing is, it's my radio show. I love doing it, and I'm really interested in lots of different esoteric things. So I'm just going to talk about what I want to talk about. And if you want to have Yowie only content, then go to another site that has Yowie only content.
Well, that's exactly right. There's plenty of other groups out there which are strictly Bigfoot, which don't allow anything else.
It's like when you shut down with the people who insist that Yowies are flesh and blood, even though nobody knows anything definitive about them. Some people are absolutely insist that they're flesh and blood, and to suggest anything else is detrimental to the whole study of these beings.
Well, the thing is, they can be flesh and blood 100%, but that does not rule out that they have extraordinary abilities.
Exactly.
It's the same as us, opening the pineal gland with the third eye. Like that's an extraordinary aspect to us.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's that arrogant modern day Homo sapien aspect that we tend to put on top of everything around us, because everything around us should be like us. When again, we actually don't know what the hell's going on.
And if you're willing to
So
entertain the idea of a Yowie in general, or Bigfoot in
Yeah.
general, why does it then become so controversial and so out of the question to
yeah,
consider other aspects, other slightly less flesh and blood aspects of this subject?
well, exactly right. I mean, like, if again, going back to that theory, if they can change their vibration to just outside our spectrum, which then they would seem to disappear to us.
Yeah.
If that's an internal ability to manipulate your own personal energy, you can still be 100% flesh and blood. That you're just a lot more in tune with your energy and with the world around you.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you don't bleed. So
And-
sorry.
No, you're right. I was just going to say, people scoff at the idea of time travel, but when you start looking into quantum mechanics, quantum physics, time isn't a linear concept. In reality,
exactly.
It's not. So,
Well, it's exactly. The way that it's perceived is the perception that we've put on top of it.
exactly.
I actually watched a documentary the other day, which was about mermaids.
Cool.
It was with the American Navy. We're doing what do they call it, like a deep sonar test.
Mm-hmm.
And what it does, and every time they've done it, all the whales and the porpoises in that location tend to beach themselves, because this sonar test by the Navy is so loud and so deep, it disrupts the whales' navigation and that kind of thing. It tends to beach all these whales and porpoises and that kind of thing.
Oh no, that's no good.
And what they found was, when they had their microphone down deep and they heard this sonar pulse go off. It's some kind of military weapon with this sonar. I think something to do with taking out submarines and that stuff. What they found when listening to the audio back, there was a secondary vocal, like they can hear the whales and the dolphins vocalizing, but they could hear another range that they hadn't heard before, and they ended up pinpointing that it was vocals talking back and forth. And one was a dolphin, one was unknown.
Oh, wow.
And then when I think some fishermen pulled in a shark, and inside the shark was remains, which basically was a half a skull, rib cage, a hand, and tail that was like with like a manatee and stuff like that. They've got no bones in their tail, whereas this tail had bones, like a giant hand. Like a paleontologist or some other top scientist did a skull recreation, it actually come back like a humanoid type skull.
Oh wow.
With this big indentation in the top of the skull, which was where you would send out those sonar blips like dolphins and whales do.
Okay. Yep.
Like this big mass in the front of the skull that you use to create those sonar blips.
Ah.
And they made the report on it, and all of a sudden the military and police come in and confiscated the body, and they never saw it again.
Yeah,
But they already made the audio recordings public knowledge, so that they couldn't confiscate them, but they hadn't had the chance to do it with the body.
I wonder if that's somehow connected to because I think, I can't remember if I shared this with you the other day. There was Stephen Greer talking about the power source and potential weapons that they have down in Antarctica.
Yes. The DUMBs, the deep underground military bases.
Yes. So
and the Arctic bases, yeah.
Yeah, and he was talking about. He mentioned in connection with that the Havana syndrome. So have you heard of that? Yeah. So the people started off diplomats from the American embassy in Cuba complaining about an illness, and they've actually tested the brains of those people, and they have brain injuries from actual physical brain injuries from whatever happened to them, but they're suspecting that it was some kind of sonic pulse. He connected and I'll have to look this up again and send it to you, but he connected their testing and their use of this sonic power to the earthquakes in Christchurch in New Zealand.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'll look it up again and I'll send it to you, because I was like, oh my God, that's fascinating. But he was also explaining how it potentially has the capacity to heal as well as the capacity to damage.
Well, that would then go back to sound and vibration therapy.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Everything is all connected in a way.
Oh, definitely, 100%. Which actually, that reminds me, I need to send you a link to Stephen Greer's 2001 National Press Club briefing.
Oh, I haven't seen that. Yeah, that'd be cool.
It's about 2 hours long, but that's basically Dr. Stephen Greer with ex-military and ex-political figures doing an actual press briefing to the media about what they know and what they've seen and what they've experienced to do with ETs and UFOs. One of them actually talks about he was talking to a serviceman on a secret base, and they were talking about housing structures on the backside of the moon.
Yeah, right.
And so it's a very interesting, legit press club briefing to the media, and which, as they do, like it's a legit thing to the media. It's a government briefing, but it just disappears. Like, as in, like, no one talks about it.
Yes.
Like,
it's really weird, isn't it?
It is.
Remember, if you've had any strange or mysterious experiences and you'd like to come on the show and share your story with the Yowie Central listeners, let me know via yowiecentral@gmail.com or via the Yowie Central Facebook group. Well, that's all I've got time for this week, my friends. Yowie Central will be back next week, same time, same place, on 94.9 Main FM. Catch you next week.
Out in the cold, out in the dark, something's lurking at the edge of the park. People be warned, people beware, there's a storm on the rise and it's covered in hair. Hear him cry, hear him howl, looking for someone to disembowel. Claws like a hook, eyes like coal, feet so big they're gonna crush your soul. They call him Sasquatch. I can't see under the darkness behind the tree. Is he a monster? Is he a man? Is he a demon under Satan's command? Hear him cry, hear him howl, looking for someone to disembowel. Claws like a hook, eyes like coal, feet so big they're gonna crush your soul. They call him Sasquatch. Yeah! You might be rich, you pretty young thing, better hide the glint of your diamond ring. Your fancy jacket won't be worth a dime when you're sucking the blood right out of your spine. Hear him cry, hear him howl, looking for someone to